Hello there, Alaskans, wherever you are. Welcome to the Must Read Alaska Show. Coming to you from somewhere in Alaska. This is the place where we talk about, you guessed it, Alaska. Where we keep the mainstream media on their toes and where we are standing up for what's right in a world run by leftists. You can find out more by heading over to mustreadalaska.com and also checking out the Must Read Alaska YouTube channel for some really great content. But first, let's get this party started.
Welcome, everybody, to the Must Read Alaska Show. I'm your host, John Quick, coming to you live from somewhere in Alaska. I hope everybody's had a phenomenal week this week. It is the Christmas season, which is awesome. Hanukkah as well, and I hope everybody's having a awesome holiday season out there. In the snowy Alaska, geez, it has been snowing like crazy, and we're just kind of accepted. I bet most of the kids in Alaska are just loving it. I remember when I was a kid growing up in the Midwest and it snowed, man, it was like... it just seemed like it made kids the happiest things ever. So I hope everybody's enjoying playing in the snow, cross-country skiing, hiking, snowshoeing, all those things. But without further ado, we have a very special guest today, Mayor Dave Bronson from the mayor. He is the mayor of Anchorage for folks that have been living in a rock for the last couple of years, the mayor of the biggest city in Alaska, and a friend of mine. Welcome to the Must Read Alaska Show, Mayor Bronson.
John, and thank you very much, and especially thank you to the listeners at Must Read.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited you're back on. You've been a guest a number of times. You may have been one of the most returning guests to the show, which I think is awesome. Recently, I saw you did a post that you have formed what I believe is called the Southcentral Mayors Coalition. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, the focus of that, my team brought this group of mayors together, a great group of people. We've got anywhere from the South End, Ken Kasner to Carter Cole in Houston, and just about everybody in between. Sue McClure couldn't make it; she had a bit of an appointment. But other than that, we did very well. And the purpose of this is to deal with the looming shortage of natural gas in Cook Inlet. It's a challenge. The legislature came forward in 2009, did a great job. Solved some problems, but we're kind of back at it. The field is waning a bit, but there's still lots of opportunity with the producers that are there to stimulate, incentivize greater production. So we have natural gas. That's how we keep our homes warm and how we produce our electricity. And so there's three phases to this: a short and intermediate term solutions. Then, of course, we've got to deal with the long-term solution here. The Upper Cook Inlet is the economic engine for the entire state. 70-75% of the population live here. We've got to get this resolved, and that's why I formed that coalition.
That's awesome. So is this going to be like a working group? You guys will be meeting, quarterly or something like that for the next couple of years?
Yeah, it'll be even I apologize for this cough. It'll maybe even be more than that. We're waiting right now on the 8th for the release of the governor's plan publicly to go forward. Once that goes forward, certainly that'll be front and center for this. Get a piece of legislation that stimulates greater production of natural gas in Cook Inlet.
That's awesome. I think this is a great picture of working together in a bipartisan fashion. A lot of these borough mayors, they don't run as Republicans or Democrats, and how important it is for you to work with all the mayors in South Central Alaska, regardless of their political backgrounds.
Well, you're absolutely right. BTUs don't have a political party. That is the BTUs contained with the natural gas. It is essential. It's not just important. It's essential that we work together. Republicans, Democrats, Independents. It just doesn't matter. We'll solve this problem. We'll get to a short-term, intermediate solution, and then we all got to come together on what the long-term, the 10-year plus window looks like.
Yeah, and for folks listening, I mean, just imagine you're sitting in your house in the dead of winter and your gas turns off, right? I mean, it may not happen next week or next month or next year, But if people aren't thinking and planning ahead, who knows what would happen? Because Mayor, if we look at the federal layout, left and right, we see them doing things to Alaska that are very frustrating in terms of natural gas exploration. How have you looked at that as the mayor of the biggest city in Alaska when the federal government keeps saying, you know, you can't go look here, you can't go look there, you can't go look over here for oil and gas? How frustrating is that, if it is?
Well, it's extremely frustrating. Right now, though, we're focused on at the state level coming to a solution which will move us forward and keep. I don't want to alarm people too much. I mean, it's not like your gas is going to turn off one day, but it's what's going to happen is the prices are, because of the reduction in supply, prices are going to start climbing, and then people will go into pretty strenuous conservation modes. Our job as political leaders, as civic leaders, is to make sure the supply is there so the cost stays down. And we're at about $8 a million cubic feet right now, 8.5, I should say. There's talk that could go up if we don't do this right 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
And that is what we're working on avoiding. And we can get there if we do this right. We can keep that cost increase of natural gas down, because with natural gas, plentiful natural gas, we can keep the cost of electricity down. And that's also because we can't stimulate economic development, investment in our area if we don't have cheap electricity. So don't forget the electrical component. I spent a lot of time yesterday meeting with the folks from Westinghouse who are up. They've got a big team, and they're dealing on the rail belt with a lot of solutions and helping out. We're meeting with a lot of people because the electrification from Fairbanks all the way to Homer, that's got to be worked on as well, and that fits in quite well with this notion of natural gas, the securing the supply going forward at very reasonable prices, because again, electricity is that second leg that we've got to have to stimulate cheap electricity, to stimulate the economic development and investment.
So let's say, there's going to be people sitting at home thinking, well, how the heck do I make a difference? I can't go drill a hole for natural gas in my backyard. What can somebody do that's concerned about just like you are, and just like the other mayors of Southcentral Alaska? What can the average person do for something like this? Do they write their representatives? Do they sit in their house frustrated? What are some things they could possibly do?
Well, certainly do not sit there and be frustrated. There is a plan in place. The governor has a plan. It's right now in the intermediate term. It's a plan to stimulate greater production. There is quite a bit of natural gas left in Cook Inlet. It's the cost of that natural gas, the cost of bringing it to the surface and getting it into our homes. That is the issue. If we can stimulate more suppliers, more explorers, increase the supply that way through a change in the royalty mechanism, that's the first best step going forward. After that, we've got to look at more long-term permanent solutions. There's the issue of, I think everyone is just about everyone has heard about the big pipe or the little pipe. Some kind of gas eventually is going to have to come off the North Slope and get to Cook Inlet. It's going to have to happen unless technology gets us to the point where we can look at something. Quite frankly, personally, I'm a big advocate long term of nuclear. So anywhere from 5 to 10 years out, that 2030 timeframe roughly, we can get to where we can start adding small nuclear reactors to our grid to enhance. Because remember, the more electricity we can produce with, say, a small reactor, that's less natural gas, or that would allow more than natural gas to help us heat our homes. I mean, in an ideal world, would it be nice to convert to all electricity? I think that would be very nice. But at the end of the day, we don't have that infrastructure. Our infrastructure is built on natural gas. Most people have forced air gas furnaces. Well, are we going to compel everyone to convert to forced air electric furnaces? So at the end of the day, natural gas is in the near term, in the intermediate term, certainly, if not long term, is the solution.
Nice. Well, I think it's awesome that you're leading the way there for the South Central Mayors Coalition. Let's shift gears here and talk a little bit about the snow. You probably had about 6 winters worth of snow in Anchorage already. How's the plowing coming? Give the folks a little update on how things are going these days.
Well, I think we all know what happened a month ago. We in Anchorage here. I don't think you got as much, but we got in some parts of town up to 40 inches of very wet snow, and the equipment at both the municipality and the state, by and large, was not. We didn't have enough and the right equipment to move that heavy of wet snow. I'm talking to business people who say, normally we can plow our entire park truck and a plow. He says couldn't even move it, so they were scrambling to grab contract front end loaders just to plow small parking lots. So now you magnify that threat over this, over what 1,900 square miles of city. It gets pretty serious. And, we've got 1,200 miles of roads and a couple hundred miles of sidewalks. It gets pretty significant. So it was a real challenge. There was a public safety component to it, where we couldn't get our ambulances up and down some of the major roads. So we took some effort to coordinate with the state to help out with that. That went very well. That coordination. Our system is built for up to 10 inches of dry snow. And that means, so as we plow, we have a prescribed sequence. We plow our major roads, and then the roads that connect those major roads to each other. And then we go into the neighborhoods. And then once we start in the neighborhoods plowing, we have 84 hours to move that snow to get that first pass and clear the neighborhoods. At 10 inches of dry snow, we can do that within 84 hours. As you get more and more snow, and as the snow gets wetter and wetter, that 84-hour window just starts getting quite long, and it gets real big. That's the challenge. People say, well, just buy more graders, hire more people. Well, so I went to my staff and I said, what does that look like? And it was about a $20 million price tag. So it was about 10 million in equipment in the near term on the capital side, and then about 10 million per year thereafter added labor costs, because we got to hire mechanics and drivers and maintainers of the equipment. And we go, 2 years ago, we didn't need that. 3, 4, 5. We haven't had this kind of snow since 2011, 2012. Remember, when you hire that many people all summer long, those are the people that are standing around doing nothing. We've right-sized this. We've right-sized this for the average snowfall, and you have to. And then we contract with outside contractors in these peaks. And that's what we did. And it was very difficult. But we coordinate well with the state DOT. I spoke with the commissioner yesterday, complimented him on how well he did on his roads, major roads throughout the city. Because folks got to remember, most of the major roads in the city are state owned, and they plow them. And the city doesn't. And because the state uses different equipment. We need graders because they're they're designed to get into neighborhoods and move snow. The state doesn't do that. The state plows big straight roads where they can go fast. So they have dump trucks with high-speed blades and belly blades and sanders usually on the back. So so when it's dry, like we had a few days ago, dry snow, they hit the highway, did very well. We're into the neighborhoods. We're plowing our neighborhoods. We got almost all the way through our our 84-hour window, and within just a few hours, and then we got another dump of snow, and we had to start over because the law says that our plan says the moment you get 4 inches of snow, you have to start over and get the main roads plowed. So, yeah, I you can throw enough money at something and you can certainly fix it. But at the end of the day, you're going to pay for that, even when all that equipment and all those people are idle. And I'm doing my best to keep the bill that goes to the taxpayer as low as possible, the property taxpayer. That's front and foremost, because quite frankly, I hear from people who are getting property taxed out of their homes.
Yeah.
That there's a moral component to there. I've got to respect that challenge.
So recently I saw you do on your mayor's Facebook page a happy Hanukkah post, which I think is awesome. I think in today's day and age, the left would like to have any sort of religion thing out of the public square. How important it is for you to wish people a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah. How important is that for you?
I think it's very important, certainly to me, but it's essential for society to kind of get back to an understanding of where we came from and what our shared values are. Our values are, from the beginning, from the inception of this country, are Judeo-Christian. That means Jewish and Christian, whether Catholic or Protestant or whatever. And somehow we've deviated from that. To me, this is just a reflection. It seems to me something is very, very broken in our society. It just goes on and on. Every day there's something new. And I'll be blunt with you. We have a society where we think men can be women, men can play in women's sports. Our grandparents, our parents, they would scoff at us. They would laugh. What have you done to this country? We have this notion that somehow roads are somehow racist. It just goes on and on. It never seems to end. And now it's manifests itself very quickly in the last 2 months into overt, crystal clear, unequivocal anti-Semitism. And as someone who's visited Israel several times, who loves the country, loves the people, this anti-Semitism, this anti-Israeli nonsense that's out there, that needs to be quelled. And quite frankly, we do that by coming together and wishing people Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, and respecting our common tradition, which is a Judeo-Christian tradition.
Awesome. So what are you thankful for this holiday season? There's probably much to be thankful for still, but what are you thankful for this holiday season?
Well, my wife and I and kids who no longer live at home, we're healthy. Maybe I'll spill the beans here a little bit, but we have a wedding coming up in a week or so. We're quite happy with that.
Congratulations.
One of our kids. I'll just leave it at that. So very pleased. We live in a wonderful city, a beautiful city, notwithstanding all the snow. It looks like we're going to definitely have a white Christmas. And I remember with the kids growing up, we had so many winters where there was no snow. And we were just saying, could we just get 2 or 3 inches for Christmas? Well, we're going to have a white Christmas.
How about 40 inches?
Yeah, well, and one snowfall. So I love this city. I love this state. I've been here for over 32 years. My wife and our kids were born here. They were raised here. And I'm just doing my best to make sure this city is going forward, is prosperous. And we live together as a community. Certainly we have our differences. But at the end of the day, we all need to come together and work for these common solutions. The port is a big challenge, if not a threat. The structure of the port, we've been working diligently since before we came into office on that. But this Cook Inlet natural gas shortage, that's a big thing. That's a real big thing. So we're all hands on deck, focused on that, trying to move forward. But even in the face of these great challenges, I think we're all Alaskans. We're all citizens of this great city, and we've got to pull together. And I think this thing like this, I think it's called Party of Socialism and Justice or something, that seems to advance this anti-Semitism here in the city. Absolutely terrible, anti-American, strikes right at our values as a country and as a state and a city, and that needs to be countered. I'm not here to throw people in jail or anything like that, but we in the public realm, we need to debate these people and, quite frankly, explain clearly why how their thinking is so, quite frankly, anti-American and disturbed.
Yeah. Well, 20 minutes has went by in a flash. Any last minute thoughts here before we head off, Mayor?
Well, unless I'm coming back on here before Christmas again, last day of Hanukkah today. Happy Hanukkah. And then we've got a menorah. We've been lighting our candles, so we'll do that today. And then Merry Christmas to everyone. Just kind of put politics and all the challenges the world is facing aside for a while here. Now get through Christmas, have a good time with your family, and look out for your neighbors. There's some neighbors that don't have much, and if you can give them a little gift, think about the other person. There's no greater source of happiness, I think, in this life than to do things for other people or who are more needy than we are.
I love it. Well, thanks so much, Mayor, for joining us here on the Must Read Alaska show. We wish you nothing but success there in Anchorage. And for folks who live on the Kenai Peninsula, maybe close to Nikiski, this Saturday, we're having at Nikiski Hardware and Supply our annual Christmas extravaganza. If you have a kid, every year we pass out, 500 brand new toys to kids. Santa will be there, the real Santa, and it's a free event for everybody. Santa's reindeer will be out front. Hot cocoa will be being served at the cafe inside, and it's just a fun time. 11 to 3, if you're in the Nikiski or Kenai area at Nikiski Hardware and Supply, Santa will be there. Free gifts for the kids, and it's a pretty awesome event. Every year we pass out 500 gifts, so times that by kids and parents. A lot of folks show up every year to this celebration. We do it out in Nikiski because we love the community. So shameless plug there for that event. And for everybody that listens, watches, and reads Must Read Alaska, we want to thank you for doing that. If you want to sponsor the Must Read Alaska show, just email me, John, John, at mustreadalaska.com, and you could potentially sponsor the Must Read Alaska show. And Mayor, hope you have an awesome holiday season. Love it that you're the mayor that is still going to wish everybody a happy Hanukkah and a Merry Christmas.
I am.
And I love it. So until next time.
And say hi to Suzanne for me. Merry Christmas to both you and Suzanne.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mayor. And until next time, I'm John Quick from somewhere in Alaska. Thank you.